This video is going to cover every single mob in Lucid Blocks, going from bubble bears to the giant water pig and everything in between. They're called vermin in-game, but you know what I mean when I say mob. I've been saying it for too long now and I'm not going to stop. This video will contain spoilers, so obviously if you don't want to be spoiled, go watch my spoiler-free starter guide. Now, I am going to give a little description of what they drop and what they do, just wanting to cover every mob so that people interested can know the vermin available in this vicarious sandbox. There are 3 types of capsules that I've found so far: red, purple, and blue. The blue ones are passive mobs, the red ones are enemies, and the purple ones are seemingly neutral. Let's just get right into this. Starting with the blue capsules. The first blue capsule mobs that most people will find is the fem fruit. The fem fruit, if you couldn't already tell, is just a tettopare, except it can spawn with a few different hair colors. All they seem to do is meow and passively drop bread. They're pretty common and good to farm, and their capsules make even more mobs. They drop fruit seeds, style seeds, nuts, and I'm pretty sure they can even drop paraphernalia. Let me know in the comments below if you find any drops that I didn't. I didn't have the ability to test everything, but I did my best. Next up is the iconic bubble bear. Originally being a little fruit capsule from a previous game the dev Lucy was working on, bubble bears are one of my favorite mobs in game. They act like little chickens by dropping bubble bear eggs occasionally, and they make this cute little noise every once in a while. They do drop bubble bear flesh when killed, and one of the unique facts I know is, according to the devs, the bubble bear tastes like tofu with a layer of jelly inside. I love them so much, but while I'm on the topic of bubble bears, these are what I've taken to calling void bears. They're seemingly identical to normal bubble bears, but they're purple and they don't have a face. As far as I can tell, they're harmless, but I definitely wouldn't let them interact with my bubble bears, that's for sure. Up next of the blue capsules is the sheep. They're literally just sheep. They make sheep noises and drop exactly what you'd expect: some meat and wool. I do like the sheep model though, I think it's really cute, and it gives me a lot of comfort in a world of such weird things. They seemingly like to spawn in more grassy areas, and that makes sense. Then we have the Boyd capsule. These guys are plastic, little triangle guys, and they drop plastic when killed. A neat little thing about them is you can actually jump on them and ride them. I call it Boyd riding. After the Boyds, we have 2 of the most useful blue capsules, those being the fish and gyrofish respectively. The fish can only survive underwater, and the gyrofish can fly. They drop fish corpses, bones, and sometimes they drop water, and even occasionally paraphernalia like flippers and snorkels. Next up are the newts. They are these small little guys that like to spawn around the plastic biomes. They can jump super high, and they drop newt flesh and feathers when killed. They also lay newt eggs just like the bubble bears, but their flesh doesn't stack when they're killed, so they're not as useful to farm. Now we're starting to get into some of the more non-blocky vermin. These guys are worms. They just bounce around from place to place, looking cool. They drop segments, glands, and eyes. Note, these aren't the same as the other eyes, they're like worm eyes. I guess that means there's a difference, I don't really know. After the worm, it's the similarly sounding verm. Basically just a giant 3-eyed worm. In my testing, they only drop these big blue segments. They can move really fast though, and they're kinda hard to kill. I wouldn't really worry about them though. The next 2 I'm gonna group together because they're essentially the same thing, the sunny and the bee. They both just kind of float around. The sunny makes bird whistling noises that are super relaxing, and the bee just makes bee noises. The reason that I group them together is because they're all just essentially reworks of the worm. The worm is a bee with a long body, and the sunny is just the same pieces moved around. They all drop the yellow segments and brown eyes, but the sunnies and the bees drop this gray appendage sphere, while the worms drop a red gland sphere. There's a few more sets of vermins that are just reskins, and I'll bring them up together when I talk about them. Next up are the glagglers. They're basically these smiley-faced balloons that will always drop a glaggle token. They are pretty useful, and I keep a spawner of them in my personal qualia just for farming. The last blue capsule mob that I know about at this time is the toy dog. I don't actually have the capsule unlocked. I've been pretty busy with some other stuff, but from my playtesting, I always called it the plastic pig. They can always be found in the city area, and they make these plastic noises. The only thing they seemingly drop is plastic. And that's it for the blue capsules that we know so far. Those are all the friendly faces that we will see. Next up are the purple capsules. There are only a few of them, so this section's going to be pretty quick. The first two purple capsules we're going to talk about are the Kodama and the Igni. Both take the form of glowing geometric shapes that float around and make weird baby noises. I've noticed they like to spawn around areas with essence blocks. The Kodama is white and will drop ball essence, and the Igni is orange and drop fire when killed. Just watch out. The Igni always explodes on death, and it can get pretty annoying. Next up are one of my favorite little guys in the game, the Golem. These little rock guys always carry a set of blocks on them. Usually temple brick, but sometimes limestone. And they'll drop stuff like blocks, bones, and eyes. They will also usually drop a simple weapon that they can attack you with. These guys can be seen building very basic things. I wouldn't even say structures, but they like to build up, that's for sure. Basically the average Minecraft Pocket Edition player circa 2016. After those guys, we have the Dominion. These guys like to take the shape of a giant conch fractal. They're the ones that will attack you and warp you to that grassy grid dimension. They're super hard to kill and one of the strongest enemies in the game. They can teleport around and slow down time. But if you manage to kill one, you'll be rewarded with one of the most powerful items in the game. They're pretty uncommon, but I've usually found them by going super far up. This next one I haven't been able to make or kill yet, so I don't know its exact drops, but it's called the Ophanim. It's the fractal guy that disappears when you look at it. Like the Dominion, it's also named after a biblical angel type. So it might be a clue as to its true nature or what it's supposed to represent. I'm not really sure. There is a lot of Bible references in Lucid blocks, and I don't really know what they represent yet, but I do know what the last purple capsule is. That's going to be the humble Mishu. They can be found almost anywhere, but usually seen in the wheat fields area. The Mishu will always point in the same direction, and it can't be moved or killed. The only reason it's considered a mob is because we have a capsule for it. I don't think that bothers it though. And that's it for the purple capsules. We only have the red capsule vermin left. These are the most dangerous, vile creatures in all of Lucid blocks. The horrific monsters contained in the next section might haunt your nightmares. Or something like that, I guess. I highly suggest not spawning any of these next vermin in your pocket qualia, or any nearby valuable items, or people such as yourself, honestly. But let's get into this. Starting with the Blasphemy, this mob is almost as iconic as the Bubble Bear at this point. It's a giant white spider that makes horrific noises. It's way too smart, and it drops a thing called a kilo when killed. If you use that item to make a Kristella's Bane, then you yourself can become the Blasphemy Kilo. Get it? Alright, moving on. The Alak is another giant spider. This one almost more horrific than the last due to its human face slapped on the center. But it's actually a lot easier to deal with once you get used to the horror. It just shoots bombs at you. And when it's killed, it drops bones and bombs, which can be pretty useful, but it's really not worth the fight. Next up on the list is the mannequin. These guys are creepy little wooden dudes that hold all different types of weapons. Sometimes they can have just paddles, but occasionally they can spawn with ball wands and even hate wands, so be careful. They're kind of like crazy drug addicts, in the sense that they'll be super chill with you for a moment, but will usually end up attempting to rob you for all your belongings. And be careful, they can and will pick up your items to sell. They drop string, sticks, cut wood, and whatever item they're holding at the time. I also noticed that they're usually found around wooded areas, like places with trees or the wood towers area. Similar to the mannequin, this next vermin, the Preta, are usually found on the sand layer. They're tall and they kind of look like Endermen. But these horrific things make elephant noises when hit and can occasionally spawn with a mace. They drop bones and meat apparatus. Up next are 3 vermin that I'm going to group as one. These are the goose, the gel, and the mercury. They're all essentially slimy cube things that jump around. The gels are giant and the mercury are silver, but they all drop goo when killed. The only difference one of them has is that the mercury drops mercury tendrils, as you might have guessed. After those, we have the wildebeest. These tall, table-looking guys that do more damage than the average high school insult. These guys are loud, tall, and really annoying. They drop a really powerful healing item, wildebeest flesh, and if you kill one of them with a flaming sword, you'll get cooked wildebeest flesh. Probably the best healing item in the game. Then we have the last underwater creature in the game, the Axolotl. Forgive me on the pronunciation. I usually call them the trees, but mostly they're just known to me as the thing that makes me scream louder than anything else in this game. These giant fuzzy nightmares will drop bones and an arm extender paraphernalia. They are also one of the only mobs in the game capable of destroying blocks, so be careful. After that, it's the metal golems. Just like normal golems, these are little guys. Seemingly dumber and more aggressive than their regular counterparts, the metal golems just drop aluminum blocks, mercury tendrils, and bones when killed. They're also only really found in white areas. The last horrific nightmare spider creature that we're going to cover is the Mimic. These hellspawn can be almost in any biome and can appear as almost any block as far as I know. They drop tungsten appendages when killed and whatever block they're imitating. They're also absolutely horrific. Quickly moving on to the last few red capsules, we have the Principality. These guys are the ones that drop the Machination, one of the easiest to get grappling hooks in the game, and will occasionally pull you up with their own machinations. They can be useful if you need to reach a high up place, but they're kind of inconvenient and otherwise useless. They usually spawn super high up in the sky though, so you don't have to worry about them typically. Next up is Ball. This is a series of geometric shapes swirling all together to create a single mob. It's able to produce explosions and it creates like a storm around it. I haven't been able to craft or kill one of these guys yet, so please let me know if you get that in the comments below. I'd love to know. Alright, these last 2 craftable capsules I've not even encountered on my own. They're both red capsule mobs, and I would consider them like legendary encounters, but only one of them I would consider to be an actual enemy. First up is the Mokos, a giant water pig looking thing that seemingly floats around like a balloon and occasionally drops water. I tried killing it, but I couldn't do anything. I have no idea if the thing is even killable or even alive. But considering that we're counting the Mishu as alive, I'll count the Mokos as a creature too, even if it's just a giant water balloon pig. But it's cool. And the last mob that you can craft in lucid blocks is the Leviathan. This horrific giant red hand will appear if you try and live in a house long enough in the overworld. It'll darken the sky and play Geiger counter noises, and a red sun or blood moon shows up above. The giant red Leviathan hand drops the Thorn talisman paraphernalia when killed. But as far as I could tell, that's about it. It didn't damage me when I tried to fight it, and it was only until after I was editing and recording did I realize that the thing ripped out blocks from everywhere I was standing. Like, look at this. It looks like a battleground or something. It even hit my green screen.
Hi, how are you?
So I guess it's truly the scariest thing in the game. It's also a reason why you better not build a base in the overworld. And that's about it. There is one more enemy that I can talk about, but I'll leave it up for my Lucid Blocks story and lore video. That means that this is the end of the guide. I hope you guys enjoyed. This is where I would usually just say, okay, thanks, bye. But this time I did want to talk a little bit more seriously real quick. I don't want my whole channel to forever be Lucid Blocks content. This isn't the last Lucid Blocks video, but I really want to transition into more generalized content. One of my favorite YouTubers is Happy147, and I really want to try and cop that style, if you know what I mean. But we did just blow past 600 subs. I didn't even have time for a 500 sub video. I didn't want to ramble on for a whole 30 minutes, so I was just gonna slap this on the end. Thank you. I really appreciate it. With your help, the available spots on the Triple Digits Club is shrinking rapidly. There's not many slots left, so if you want to join, you gotta join soon. It really does boggle my mind that anyone would sit down and listen to me talk for this long. But seriously, if you made it this far, thank you. I'd appreciate it if you went ahead and liked the video, subscribe, ring the bell, do all the YouTuber things. But otherwise, seriously, thanks for watching. Okay, thanks, bye!
Minecraft, lucid blocks, planning to explore. Click the bell, click the bell, click the bell, cause we always want more. Yeah, RiverDXR, RiverDXR, RiverDXR. It's something